Hi, my name's John. Welcome to another cooking video. Deb's is away, so it's welcome to Deb's kitchen. As long as I don't leave a mess, she's quite happy. Today I'm going to make one of my favourites. I'm going to make some vegetable broth or some vegetable soup. I'll show you how to prepare the vegetables. I'll show you what spices and things I put in to get the best out of the soup. And that's enough talking. We'll have a look at the ingredients, then we'll get on and see if we can get this soup made. These are the ingredients we're going to use for the soup. I'm sure you'll recognise most of them. That is a piece of ham. I cooked that off yesterday in the slow cooker. Now that is the stock that came off the ham. That's been in the fridge cooling overnight. There's a little bit of fat on the top. I'll scrape that off and we're going to use that as the stock for the soup. If you wanted vegetarian soup, you wouldn't be using that, you'd just be using water. One more ingredient you might not be familiar with, this stuff here. It's basically a soup mix, what they call pulses. That's peas and barley and split peas and things in it. What you do, you soak them in cold water for 24 hours. That's half a packet in there. You can see how they've swollen up. Then you strain them, rinse them, and that goes into the soup as well. We've got a turnip, we've got some leeks, we've got some potatoes, we've got carrots, we've got white pepper, and we've got some oxo stock cubes. That's one more ingredient which I'll show a little bit later on. But basically, that's everything we're going to need to make the soup. The soup's going to be cooked in this. This is part of a slow cooker. You know, a slow cooker, it takes roughly 4 hours for the soup to cook. You've got to wait for the good things in life. First thing to go in is the stock. Next goes the pulses. You can see how much they've swollen up. There's half one of those packets in there. Next I put in 2 vegetable stock cubes. Possibly 3. You can add one later on, depends how it tastes when it's cooking. White pepper. You've got to be really careful with white pepper. It is very, very strong. All you need is that much, no more than that. That goes in. Then for the secret ingredient, well, it's not really secret, and it isn't what it says on there. It is actually MSG. I use MSG quite a lot in cooking. It's really good in eggs, so MSG goes in. I'm going to do the leek first. Put that there. And I'm going to take off the outside leaf or the outside flag. They were called flags in the leek showing days. I'm going to show a picture of my daughter actually holding one of my show leeks. Quite often you get soil down in between the flags, so I'm going to rinse that under some cold water just to make sure that's all gone. Right, that's cut up into sort of 1/2 inch or 12mm pieces. I'm going to put 2 leeks in. I do like a bit of leek in my soup, really nice. Very, very versatile vegetable, a lot milder than an onion. Right, so they go in, and then we'll do the same with another leek. Next, for the carrots, cut the top and bottom off, and they need to be peeled. We're going to take that outer skin off them. I've got a peeling device here, which just takes the skin off quite nicely. Right, the carrots are then cut up into sort of 10mm rounds. It's quite a boring way to do carrots. The whole thing about vegetables bores me, so I'm going to see if I can devise an easier way. Well, it'll not be easier, but it'll certainly be a more fun way of cutting the carrots up accurately. If you look carefully at the carrot, it has got a centre mark in there. It also has a one in there where the leaves come out. If we cut that stalk off, you've got a pretty good centre mark there. Now I'm just going to freehand drill this to get a nice hole through there, and I have got a mandrel that will be a good fit on the carrot. You must exercise great care in freehand drilling. I've got no loose dangly clothing. I want to go in from both ends, just to try and get as accurate as I possibly can. The swarf can be kept and that can be used, that will go in the soup, no problem at all. That's the mandrel I've made, and we're just going to rely on a friction drive. It's probably about 1/2 mil bigger than the drill size. The trouble is with machining this to get the skin off, it's tapered and I haven't got a taper turn attachment, so I'm going to waste quite a bit of material on this end. It can't be helped. As far as tooling goes, I use a tip tool naturally, and the tool I use is for aluminium. It's got a real steep chip breaker on, so that should break the chips no problem at all. I'll break the carrots, not the chips. We'll give it a try, see what happens. Quick check on centre height, it's pretty good. Speed wise, I would think about 250 RPM. Don't want to go on too fast. That looks reasonable. I want a really fast power feed. I'll give it a little try. The chips are a little bit stringy. They're not breaking very well, but it's putting a decent finish on. I'm going to try a little bit faster. I think we'll go up 1 gear. Right, that's 410. Depth of cut. Take 2 mil. 2 mil per side, so that'll take 4 mil of it. It's more like a juice that's coming off than an actual chipping. Yeah, quite happy with that. It's quite a decent surface finish as well. I'm going to part them off, and I want to part off 10 mil lengths. So I'll use my DRO to measure out the 10 mil lengths. The parting tool is 2 mil thick, which means I'm going to waste 2 mil of carrot on each one. Right, so we'll zero the DRO, go along 10 mil. Another 10. That's pretty good. So they're nice 10 mil chunks of carrot. Having the hole in the centre will probably help them cook as well. I might try and put a thread on there so we've got like a decorative effect as well. I like that. That's put a lovely coarse thread on there. It's actually 4 mil pitch because it is a metric lathe. I could do imperial, but I'm quite happy with that. And I'm going to part these off every 2 threads. It'll be interesting to see what they look like when they're actually cooked. I'm happy with what we've got. We've got some nice turnip rounds, and of course we've got the ones with the thread on as well, all ready to go into the soup. I'm sure you agree that's a much better way of doing it. I'll give you a wash and they will indeed be going in the soup, complete with our 4 mil thread. Next we've got the turnip, cut it in half, roughly, cut off the top and bottom, and then I cut it into slices, about so wide, and then I peel it and cut it into chunks. So I get a vegetable knife, nice sharp knife. All I do is go around like that, taking the hard skin off. Then I cut it up into probably 15mm square chunks. It's not that critical. So the whole turnip gets done like that, and that also goes into the soup. Next, a potato. I'm not going to peel it. I've washed it and I'm going to leave the skin on. The skin's good for you. Chop it up. Once again, we're aiming for 15mm cubes. 15mm-ish. Two potatoes go into the soup. Right, so that's everything in there, nicely chopped up, nice chunky vegetables. A bit of hot water just to get it going. Lid goes on there, then it goes into what goes onto its base, which is a electric slow cooker, for probably 4 hours. I'll come down in a couple of hours time and have a taste of it in case it wants more pepper or more stock cubes in, or some salt. But I don't think you need any salt in because you'll get a fair bit of salt from the stock. The soup has now had a couple of hours. You can see it's starting to come together. There's some of the carrots. There's one of the carrots with a hole in. Could be quite a few of them in there. There's another one. Proper soup. We'll have a taste. Nice, really nice. Another couple of hours and that'll be done. Right, this soup now had 4 hours and it is cooked. The vegetables have got nice and soft. There's a carrot with a hole in. We'll have a little taste. Some leek. Right, the moment of truth. A little bit more salt. Touch of black pepper. Once again, it's just time to say thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and bon appetit, bonny lad. And this is absolutely stunning.